Hello, everyone. I am coming to you on behalf of my family. Talk about a real estate transaction that has gone completely wrong, something that can affect you or anyone in your family. We have tried resolving this means various different ways and have reached no conclusion. So we're trying to resolve this matter by going to the public, looking for your help to educate you or to share with you what's going on in our current situation that we've been dealing with for over a year. To make a long story short, Fannie Mae sold us the neighbor's home, the home in which I'm currently in right now with my wife and three kids. The neighbors have filed a lawsuit against my family for trespassing, ejectment, and they're even seeking punitive damages, stating that we have been trespassing maliciously and deceitfully with complete disregard to their property rights. Some of you may be asking, well, how can this even be? We will follow up with subsequent videos explaining a little bit further in detail on the actions of title insurance companies, Fannie Mae, everybody involved. We found a home when I was still in the military. We found a home listed on Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow. It was MLS listed. It was ever advertised on a lot size of 10 acres. So I contacted our real estate agent to show us a place. I was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia at the time. Drove to Oklahoma to have her show us a place. She showed us a place, and we went ahead and put in an offer. We went under contract. The normal stuff that you would always do during your due diligence, your inspections, your appraisals, etc. This being a foreclosure, was our first foreclosure we've ever purchased. And we closed on it in Tulsa. They said that, we paid them to do the title work and things of that nature. And they said we had a good title to go ahead and close on the property. So went ahead and closed on the property, and I went back. I started getting the home fixed up for my wife and three kids. It was foreclosure stripped, so there were some other repairs and maintenance that needed to be done in order to make it livable for my family. I then went back to Georgia, and I was honorably discharged in August of 2015. The way this all came about was this home was built in 2005. It has been through two different banks. Chase Bank was the bank that foreclosed on the property. Went through the foreclosure process, and Fannie Mae purchased it at the sheriff's auction in 2014, and then they sold it to us in 2015. When I found out that we had a survey done due to the neighbor's livestock continuing breaking through the fence, it was causing issues with my wife and kids while I was in another state. And so I talked to the neighbor. These cows keep breaking through these fences, and they're defecating all around where my kids play, and being out there eating at 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I talked to the neighbor, trying to get things resolved. Didn't get resolved. So I went down and bought some OT posts and barbed wire and doing some of my own repairs. They continued to break through, and I was like, I'm going to get a survey done to make sure that this is a big nuisance to us, and we want to get a survey to make sure the fences are down in the correct places. So I contacted the county sheriff's department just to say, hey, what are my legalities? I've never had to deal with cows on my property or anything like that. What can I do? And they had given us several different options. So I just told them, don't go to the neighbors. Just, I'll handle this. It's fine. I appreciate the information. Survey comes back that what was actually conveyed to me were 10 acres to the north of the home that's in a floodplain. There's wet weather creeks running through there with timber where you legally cannot even build a home. So a little upset about the fact that we bought a home. We entered a residential contract. We have a deed restriction against us that we have to live here for 12 months as our primary residence, or we get fined $10,000. So to make a long story short, contacting the closing company saying, hey, where's my title insurance policy? Something's wrong here, because what the bank sold me was a home, and the home is on the neighbor's land, and something's going on. So you would think title insurance company is going to come in and save the day. No, that's not what happened in this situation. We filed a claim after we finally got our insurance policy that was 5 months and a 1 day late owner's policy. They said that I didn't get a survey. It's my fault that I didn't get a survey, although it's went through two different lenders, through a foreclosure. Fannie Mae, which we thought was a federal government, they're not. They're a privately traded company. They're a government-sponsored entity. At the time, I didn't know that. And you think, okay, well, the county assessor has this home assessed on the 10 acres. I mean, come on, there's not a fence anywhere close to this home. You think that it's fine. Wrong. It wasn't. So, file a claim with the title insurance company. They say I didn't get a survey. They reject my claim. We counter back and say, okay, well, your policy says, something's wrong, fraudulent, misrecorded documents, whatever it is. And they countered back with, I'm going to quote this: electing to choose the wrong parcel does not constitute a defect to the insured's title. Clearly, I didn't choose the wrong parcel. This home was advertised on 10 acres. I didn't choose the wrong parcel. It was advertised as a home. We countered again. This time they countered with case law out of Louisiana. And they said, I hope this doesn't affect the enjoyment and use of your home. Getting very frustrated at this point because no one's really coming to help us out when we were clearly, they said that we had a good title. The insurance company said we had a good title. We had no idea we were buying 10 raw unusable acres in a floodplain that we have to live in for 12 months or we get fined $10,000. It's insane. So title insurance company tried to go into the reservation of rights, and we'll get into that in the subsequent videos on how they try to skate through and not cover things that are covered under the policy and use a reservation of rights. We'll do that. I'm just trying to make this a short video. So after that point, I started notifying, congressmen, hey, what's going on? Something's wrong. No one's helping us out. And they reached out to Fannie Mae. One of the caseworkers reached out to Fannie Mae's legal team in D.C., trying to get something kind of communication going, because clearly they weren't reaching out to us. Fannie Mae came out and had a survey done to make sure the one we done was accurate, and which in fact it was. Then the neighbors sued us, hired an attorney to sue us, to give us a notice to vacate. We had to vacate this home by February 15th, or we were going to be sued for trespassing. So what would you do? Would you stay in a roof over your head that you paid cash for and dodge a trespassing suit? Or would you move out, have no other home to go to, and get fined $10,000 from the bank that sold it to you? At this point, we're getting very agitated. Continuing trying to find out, hey, what's going on? The title insurance company says, hey, you need to go sue Fannie Mae. We're not hearing anything from Fannie Mae. And fast forward, in May of this past year, the neighbors filed a lawsuit against us for trespassing, ejectment, and punitive damages. Send that to the caseworker again with the congressman's office. Within a matter of a couple of days, Fannie Mae says, hey, what's it going to take? So give us our money back. Give us our money back, defend us against this erroneous lawsuit, and everything's fine. They agreed to rescind the contract, to reimburse us the amount that I told them to reimburse us, which is just $6,000 over the asking price. We had to do the appraisal, the inspection, plumber, electrician, stuff like that, things that needed to be done, specifically contract-based. And they also said that they would file a motion to intervene in the neighbor's lawsuit. And once that motion was granted, they would rescind the contract. And they said for me to go hire an attorney, pay up to $2,500 in legal fees is what they were going to pay me in order to do this. This is great news. My wife and I were excited. July the 5th, we had a hearing. The judge granted Fannie Mae's motion to intervene. We were like, great. Now all we got to do is just, get the settlement agreement signed, whatever needs to be done to close this deal out. Everything's done. Well, since the insurance company's counsel and Fannie Mae's counsel, I'm not sure if you're familiar with foreclosure mills. We'll get into that in subsequent videos. They used to be partnered up together, and they started working together, saying, oh, the closing company, the title insurance company feels terrible about this. We're all going to jump in on the settlement. My wife and I said, well, that wasn't what was agreed upon. We were agreed that, and we have it in writing, that Fannie Mae is going to rescind the contract and get us our money back and defend us against this lawsuit. And, granted that everything's already been filed in the courts, we're ready to go. If they didn't file the order, the motion was granted and then the intervener's petition was filed, but they didn't file the order at the time. So, settlement agreement we received, Fannie Mae retracted everything. They said, no, you still have to go defend yourself against the neighbors. You got to pay your own legal fees. Oh, by the way, you got to absolve everyone else that was ever involved in this. And oh, by the way, you got to sign a gag order, a non-disparagement agreement, where I can't go to anyone, what I'm doing now, going to you guys, trying to get someone to help us. And clearly we said that's not what was agreed upon. We'll try other means. We'll try, mediation. At that point, Fannie Mae's counsel, the title insurance company, the closing company agreed to mediate. So our attorney at the time was sitting there saying, hey, when's the date? When is this supposed to take place? Fannie Mae retracted again. They said, no, instead of mediating, just have the sheds deed us back the property and we'll give them their money back. Our attorney said that's not what was agreed upon. That was it. It doesn't address the pending lawsuit. It doesn't address the accruing attorney fees. Nothing. So, long story short, we have no attorney at this time. and we are going to have to file an answer very soon against the neighbor's lawsuit. So I hope they don't win by default in a home that we paid cash for, that we're surrounded by corporations that are trying to beat us up. Some things over the last year that we've learned is, first off, educate yourself on real estate, on surveys. Get a survey, no matter what. Have a survey. You don't know if you understood that you don't buy the physical address. What you're actually buying is a legal description. I didn't know that then, and we've bought and sold properties in the past. You're only buying the land in which that residence sits on, if there is a residence. They don't really want to tell you that stuff. So again, surveys are very important. I'm currently working with state legislators in the state of Oklahoma to introduce a bill in December to get this changed to where foreclosures, anywhere in the process, prior to any proceedings in foreclosures, somebody, the lender, the foreclosure mill, somebody's going to have to pay for a survey to ensure they're foreclosing on the correct property. You know, there's people out there right now that do not own their home. If that's because of a wrongful legal description, foreclosure wasn't done correctly, whatever it is, we wouldn't have known if it weren't for the neighbor's cows and us getting a survey. We would have continued to live here, put more money into it, living in peace, thinking everything's fine. No, you can't sell something you don't own, people. And all I ask of you to do is share this. Share this with everybody, even if they're in the real estate industry, legal, insurance, I don't care, share it. We will be following up with subsequent videos, going into a lot more detail on exactly how the correspondence happened, talk about the neighbors, because they weren't quite sweet and innocent during this whole ordeal either. So please stay tuned, and we will post these other videos on YouTube and then share the link on Facebook. Please, people, please share this. Get this story out. This is madness. Thank you, guys.